Now on CoastTV News.
Campaign signs are popping up in Rehoboth Beach. We'll introduce you to your city commissioner candidates. And celebrating a Navy veteran on his 100th birthday.
And it's been a rather gloomy tropical-like day on Delmarva. We've seen some localized flash flooding and we're beginning to see more scattered downpours pop up. We'll track the storms and even more storms for Sunday heat and then some big time relief early next week. We'll talk all about it in my full forecast in minutes.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
Commissioner candidates speaking with locals after today's public forum in Rehoboth Beach. Good evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Thanks so much for joining us here for CoastTV News at 6. We begin tonight with the candidates running for Rehoboth Beach's Board of Commissioners. 3 people are in the running for 2 seats on the board. They all participated in a forum this morning at the Rehoboth Beach Volunteer Fire Company. Susan Stewart, she's a lawyer, a financial advisor, and she serves on the city's planning commission. Jeffrey Good is an economist, and Chris Galanti is an urban planner and community advocate. Here's what those 3 candidates had to say today.
My commitment to voters is I will be respectful, I will do my homework, so I'll make informed votes, and I'll work hard to understand what people want and have it reflected in our agenda.
I'm the only one running who will focus on fiscal sanity of the city. I believe we're really headed into the wrong direction.
I bring a data-based approach to decision making. I like to find commonality with my colleagues and work collaboratively on solution and problem solving, and that's the type of perspective that I'll bring.
And Election Day in Rehoboth Beach is August 9th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Rehoboth Convention Center. Also in Rehoboth Beach, workplace civility took center stage yesterday. A new workplace policy is mandating employees have, quote, mannerly and courteous behavior toward each other. It also sets guidelines for repercussions if anyone uses hostile, abusive, or inappropriate language. The city did not say what inspired the new rule, but it does come after a July 7th meeting that featured a yelling match between commissioners. The new rule is effective immediately. And staying in Rehoboth Beach for a moment longer, the city celebrates Pride this weekend. That's including a drag brunch at Ghoulies Grill tomorrow, but that event sparking some controversy. St. Anne's Church in Bethany Beach included in their weekly newsletter a call for a, quote, peaceful and legal rosary rally protesting the event's effort to, quote, normalize transgender people and variants. Now, in response, Sussex Pride, Camp Rehoboth, and other groups are planning a counter-protest at the same time.
We want to make it really clear that there are so many faith communities here all throughout Delaware that support and embrace LGBTQ people exactly as we are, exactly as God made us. And we shouldn't let folks like these members of St. Anne's give anyone the impression that we are anything less than fully loved and embraced.
And new today, a response from St. Anne's Parish in Bethany Beach. The church and the Diocese of Wilmington issued a statement clarifying that they do not support or endorse a rosary rally. That was mentioned in that bulletin. They say the rally is organized by an unaffiliated group. The parish and the diocese apologized for any confusion and said, quote, as Catholic Christians, we recognize that all of us are made in the image and likeness of God and deserve to be treated with love and respect, unquote. We'll go ahead now and take a live look outside into Milford and turn things to our first alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobono. Good evening.
Good evening, Christina. I tell you what, it's been a kind of rather gloomy day, hit or miss showers across the area. Ocean City right now, folks enjoying the beach. We had a pretty good dosing of rain there just a short hour ago. 78 right now, very humid, very muggy out there. And there was that cell that pushed through Worcester County. Look at this, through Holly Grove, nearly 5 inches of rain fell just within a few hours. That prompted flash flood warnings that have since expired, and that cell has since pushed off the coast and weakened. Now we're beginning to see a few cells fire up across Sussex and Kent counties. In fact, one kind of blowing up right there over Harrington, a downpour there, and that's now pushing across Houston through Milford. And we're going to continue to see those scattered showers through at least through the evening, all thanks to the stationary boundary. The primary severe threat is taking place to our southwest, but the Storm Prediction Center does maintain that marginal risk. Could see an isolated severe storm through the evening, packing a damaging wind threat as well as a flash flooding threat. Temperatures right now 77 Rehoboth to 82 in Georgetown. If you're heading out to the fair, you're going to dodge a few downpours here over the next few hours, but it's not going to be a complete washout of a night. Temperatures falling to around 74 by around 11. We'll likely see some patchy fog develop through the overnight. We'll talk about more heat, more storms tomorrow, and then some big time relief to start the new week. We'll talk about that coming up in the full 7-day forecast. Christina.
All right, thanks so much, Chris. Well, we have some traffic alerts to be aware of. In Oak Orchard, part of Chief Road will be closed due to utility work and the installation of new pipe connections. The agency says the work will begin Monday, July 28th until Thursday, July 31st. Weather permitting, detours will be in place. There's also some road closures coming to Milford this week. DelDOT says Big Stone Beach Road will be closed for the replacement of a crossroad pipe. That's between Torbit Road and Gobbler Lane. That work starts Wednesday, expected to end on Friday in Milford. And good news for Milton drivers. Cave Neck Road has reopened about a month ahead of schedule. The road had been closed between Diamond Farm Road and Hudson Road since mid-May for bridge repairs. We reached out to DelDOT to see if the road is reopened for good or if some more work is needed, but we haven't heard back yet. Maryland is pushing back against the Environmental Protection Agency. The EPA last week said the state's permit for U.S. Winds project off the coast of Delmarva was not issued in accordance with federal law. Now, in response, the Maryland Department of the Environment Secretary said the permit was issued in accordance with all state and federal laws. The state says it will not reissue the permit as the EPA demanded. Maryland is also backtracking, saying the state permit issuing process is a state function, but the state website said the permits could be subject to a federal appeals process. MDE now says that language will be removed from the state website. Well, a special birthday celebration today for Raymond Sproul. He's a U.S. Navy veteran who celebrated his 100th birthday today at American Legion Post 28 in Millsboro. All of his accolades were on display along with some cake. He was surrounded by family and friends.
Happy man. I'm living a happy life. I make jokes out of it a lot of the time, but I'm a happy man.
And Raymond asked that we give a special shout out to the VA in Georgetown. He says, "Thank you for taking such good care of him. Happy birthday." It's quite the busy weekend in Kent County with the Delaware State Fair and NASCAR weekend happening simultaneously. The State Fair continues until July 26th at the fairgrounds in Harrington. This year's theme, kick up some fun. There's going to be food, games, live music, agriculture. Parking is free, plus sunscreen will be provided. And two NASCAR legends made a pit stop in Dover ahead of this weekend's big race. Richard Childress and Kyle Busch visited Dover Air Force Base Friday, meeting with more than 200 service members and their families. Alongside military members, they unveiled Busch's Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen No. 8 Chevrolet decked out in a patriotic wrap. They say it's all about giving back to the men and women who give so much for our freedom.
We've got 67 members' names that work at Cheddar's that are veterans of the military, and so we appreciate them and everything that they've done and sacrificed for us, and we want to give back a little for them.
Kyle Busch will compete on Sunday with this new Cheddar Scratch Kitchen Chevrolet in the NASCAR Cup Series. Coming up next, developing database, a new tool that will assess critical flash flood risks. That's coming up later on CoastTV News at 6.
And we're going to be dealing with some flash flooding threats through the evening with some scattered showers and storms. Then we turn the heat up for Sunday. And then, boy, we're going to really love the weather come the early part of next week. We'll talk all about that here in minutes.
But first, a jump in jellyfish. Why local beach patrols say they're seeing a sting surge here on the coast.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
Well, there seems to be a surge of jellyfish on Sussex County shores. Beach Patrol officials along the coast are reporting high numbers of sightings and stings. Take a look, some of the goopy guests we saw along the coast this week. Lewis Beach Patrol leaders say the number of stings that they've treated have doubled since last year, going from 270 last year to around 550 so far this year. In Rehoboth Beach, patrol leaders say they treat roughly 60 to 70 stings a day.
There's a lot of different methods. The method we're going with is a 50-50 water and vinegar solution. So we just spray that to the affected area. Other remedies can be taking out the stingers with a tweezer, soaking it in hot water.
Good to know. And patrol officials say the jellyfish prefer warm and mild waters. They say they usually stick around from early July until mid-August.
Well, we're going to be hotter into our Sunday with the humidity still sticking around, but there is some good relief as we hit in the early part of next week. We say so long to the humidity briefly. We'll talk more about that right after the break. Well, it hasn't been the most picture-perfect Saturday ever, but there are some really nice days here over the next 7, and you'll see that here momentarily. Live look into Cambridge, kind of an ominous-looking cloud there in the distance. 86 degrees, 77-degree humidity, just a tremendous amount of humidity over the area continues. And we're going to see a few scattered showers and storms through the evening. Those brief downpours could bring some gusty winds at times, at least through about 10 o'clock tonight. Now, temperatures right now 76 in Rehoboth. We're at 81 in Milton, 82, Harrington, and 82, Delmar. As I mentioned, dew points well in the 70s, very tropical-like out there, and there's plenty of moisture for these storms to tap into. We had a brief downpour over the fair there in Harrington. That storm has since weakened. Not seeing a whole lot of lightning with these cells, just good old-fashioned downpours passing just to the east of Seaford through Gums Crossroads. Pretty dry along the coast. We had that flash flood warning through Worcester County. That has since expired. That storm is weakened, and we see severe storms just on the other side of the bay to the south of Annapolis. Most of the severe weather is going to stay to our southwest, where there is an active watch through portions of Virginia and the Carolinas. This stationary front is going to lift northward as a warm front through the night, and this cold front well to the north, that's going to be slicing southward and bringing us some refreshing air. Rain chances really diminish as we go into the start of next week as some drier air pushes into the area. There's that marginal severe threat really through the next few hours. Again, a primary damaging wind threat as well as flash flooding. Futurecast shows that potential dousing of rain through Delmar, Salisbury through about 11 o'clock. Some patchy fog develops through the overnight, and that sets the stage for a rather steamy Sunday. 74 overnight with a spotty downpour, a muggy night, making your way out to the race in Dover tomorrow. Looking primarily dry, but a hot day. Temperatures right around 90. Late storm chances through the early evening. Along the coast, we're at 88 in Rehoboth, 92 Dewey Beach tomorrow. Those heat indices anywhere between about 100 to 103 at times, and then we'll see the storm roll in through the evening. Now, the storms tomorrow, not all that widespread. More of an isolated threat. We have that marginal threat from the Storm Prediction Center. Damaging wind, flash flooding, as well as hail are the threats through tomorrow evening. You see a few cells pushing through the area late tomorrow afternoon through tomorrow evening, and then we clear things out, and then there we go. High pressure building in, that cold front sinking southward, suppressing the humid air to the south, and it is going to feel really good around here Monday through Wednesday. 74 degrees overnight with that brief downpour. We're at 93 for our Sunday, 85 for Monday. Humidity really begins to drop Monday afternoon through Tuesday. We drop into the 60s Tuesday and Wednesday morning, and then there's that heat and humidity making a return by late week.
Still ahead on Coast TV News at 6, a battery battle. A new tariff could change how electric vehicles are built. We have new information today after a car drove into a crowd in Los Angeles this morning. Police now say the driver did it intentionally. The scene this morning left 7 people critically injured, at least 23 others hurt. Officials are also confirming that the driver was dragged from his car by enraged bystanders and shot. The suspected shooter fleeing the scene, and the investigation is ongoing. We'll be right back. Well, raging wildfires and severe storms in the U.S. are driving up global insurance losses, totaling an estimated $84 billion for the first 6 months of the year, according to a recent report. January's wildfires in Southern California accounted for about $40 billion of that total. Meanwhile, severe storms, tornadoes, winds, and hail in the Midwest and the South accounted for at least $33 billion in losses. The report said it has been the costliest first 6 months of a year since 2011. In an apparent reversal, the Trump administration is moving forward with a critical flash flood risk database. That's according to a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration official and an internal NOAA email. The database would, for the first time, take climate change into account when making rain estimates. It would help people understand their risk for flash flooding and help with construction and infrastructure projects. Now here's a live look outside into Ocean City. Meteorologist Chris Mastrobono will have one more check on the forecast after this.
Well, we're continuing to track some scattered downpours across western Sussex County, and these will continue at least through the evening. We're going to see some spotty showers and maybe even a brief gusty thunderstorm through the evening. Temperatures falling into the mid-70s overnight with a rumble of thunder and some areas of fog developing. You can get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Alert Weather phone. We're at 93 tomorrow with an isolated gusty thunderstorm in the afternoon, and then we welcome in a breath of fresh air. Look at those temperatures, 81 to 82 Tuesday and Wednesday with lower humidity.
Very nice. Thank you again, Chris. And thanks to you at home for joining us for Coast TV News at 6. You can always find some more local news and local weather on our Coast TV News app, and be sure to join us again tonight at 11. Until then, have a great night.